Have you been to Maidan? You know what we call them? Wild people. Do you think they're doing it for free? It's all for money.
And who do you think's paying them?
The USA. These people go to Maidan as if they were going to work. From Lvov, Ivano-Frankivsk, Volyn and Lutsk. All these towns.
Glory to Ukraine. Guys, how long have you been on Maidan?
This is our fourth day.
Where are you from?
Yerimcha.
Do you support Maidan?
Yes.
How long do you think the confrontation's going to last?
We'll fight till victory.
Till victory.
There can't be any dialogue between the present government and the opposition. They've crossed the line and must resign. We won't be satisfied with anything less. Help us. We need a leader. All our leaders have been intimidated. I'm afraid to show my face.
There was one American journalist I saw on TV openly explaining just how exactly Maidan activists should take over buildings and what sort of strategies they should adopt.
Occupation is not a rally. Occupation is not a march. Occupation is way more than that. You can have many marches every day, nothing happened. But when you do occupation, revolution starts. Every occupation, in order to survive and to be successful, it has to generalize itself. Every occupation that contained itself in its own barricades died.
You call it occupation, but this word is not being used here in Ukraine. Nobody calls it occupation here.
It doesn't matter. In essence, it is occupying a space. People are occupying a space, and they are saying that we, not the government, are the ruler of this space.
All the organizers of the color revolutions that I know have been to Ukraine. How can we go on saying that these protests are peaceful? I visit hospitals and see members from special force units with burns and broken limbs. These guys talk about how they were standing on Khrushchevsky Street and people were throwing bags filled with petrol at them. They created some special mixtures that are impossible to extinguish. For example, they take acetone and add foam plastic, receiving a kind of glue that will keep on burning until it completely burns itself out. And it's impossible to put out. These new technologies are being tested on people. And they are real people, just like those on the other side of the barricades, the very same Ukrainian guys.
At the present moment, it's a defense line built as protection from European Square, where extremists and radicals have gathered. You can see a banner saying, "Remember, they're waiting for you at home." This is to say, you stay here, but remember when you come back, we'll find you. These are the usual threats we get from the other side.
On the houses where members of special forces live, they paint, "You're dead," or "We'll hang you and kill all your family one by one." It's not our people standing there. The first line that's resting in tents now will come out a bit later. They came in the morning and built barricades. We don't touch them. They also brought out crosses. Orthodox or Catholic? Catholic, right? So they fortified the barricades, and then the first missile from the other side came at us, then the second, and then firebombs. And the war went on until the morning.
Have you been to Maidan?
When I pass by it, I might stop and have a look, but it's absolutely pointless, meaningless. And it will get worse. That's what I think. I know the protesters receive $25 a day. My 18-year-old son went to Maidan in its early days and got paid for it, although it was never really peaceful.
We, the priests, have agreed amongst ourselves that we'll do everything we're told for the sake of peace. If they tell us to lie down, we'll lie down. To jump, we'll jump. To stand, we'll stand. Just so that we have peace. What's terrifying is that people are longing for war, not for peace. They have a sick need for war. It's not healthy. There were a lot of people on and around the barricades, a lot. But there weren't many among them who actually fought. As people say now, they were the so-called ultras, or those who belonged to the right sector group. Moreover, the cruelty I've seen is characteristic of only very young people. It's expressed here in all its forms. But the chants and harsh commands were coming from only a few people. Save him, Lord. Give him strength and wisdom. Stand up. Carry your burden. This is not just a simple shield. It's placed on top of the barricade. An explosive is inserted here and launched in the direction of the Berkut unit. This way, no one knows who launched it, and no missile can come back. From there, they single out activists and shoot at them with rubber bullets. When we stood on the neutral ground, I approached the Berkut unit and said, "Guys, don't think we're abandoning you. It's just that a truce has been declared." And one of the guys raised his visor and revealed a face all grimy from the smoke of burning tires, and said, "Does that mean they won't burn us today?" And the other guy said, "Father, aren't we people too? They shout from the barricades, 'Come to the people,' but aren't we people too?" And I said, "The people are those who love their country and don't split it in two."
Hello? Hello. Magical hair curlers online shop. How can I help? People think Euromaidan has brought everything of importance in Ukraine to a standstill. I have a small business selling hair curlers, and even when I'm at Maidan, I'm still taking new orders. I don't think events here have really affected business that much. Hi, glory to heroes, hello. Do you support Maidan?
Why else would we have come?
Do you support military action too?
Whose? The Berkut unit?
No, not Berkut.
We don't support the Berkut unit. We don't support them at all.
And tell me, please, do you agree that the Ukrainian people should decide their own fate for themselves?
Of course I agree.
With no intermediaries from Europe or the USA, right?
Yes, or Russia.
We're not talking about Russia now. They're not interfering.
No, it's you who's not talking about it. You shouldn't say that.
Why? Have you ever seen a Russian diplomat or foreign minister handing out cookies to Berkut officers or anyone here on Maidan or anywhere else in the center of Kiev?
You know, only the civilized countries
Do you agree with the referendum?
send their ambassadors. Only the European countries.
But it's interference.
And so what? We're barbarians.
Barbarians? Why?
You say it's civilized countries sending their ambassadors, and what about us,
No.
Ukrainian citizens?
No, I'm not a barbarian.
They're civilized countries. And what about us? What country are we?
We're also a civilized country, and we'll also send our...
Where? Where do we send them?
Oh, you know, there's a hilarious joke about this. So a U.S. State Department representative, an EU ambassador, and the ambassadors of 15 European countries gathered together on Maidan to sign a treaty declaring there's to be no interference in Ukraine's domestic affairs from Russia.
You don't have to be particularly clever to grasp how relationships with Ukraine work. Give us money. Then we'll be your friends. Then when we've got the money, suddenly it goes like this. Oh, you know, well, we just can't. We haven't thought about it.
The leaders of the Ukrainian opposition are supposedly driving this process. They have no real control. All they do is show off and pretend to be important. However, there is also a third party to it. I mean the militants. We're talking about the right sector, which includes several extreme ultranational organizations. They are even more radical than the all-Ukrainian union Svoboda. Among them are Stepan Bandera Trezub, a small group called Bely Molot that's responsible for attacks on shops owned by Caucasians, the Ukrainian Patriots, a few gangs of football fans, and a bunch of people who are just a little bit crazy.
I've been on Maidan for 2 bloody months. 2 months! And I'll keep f***ing staying. I will go further for my Ukraine. I don't give a damn. I will stand alone against them all.
Why are you wearing St. George's ribbons? Have you earned the right to wear them?
This here, it's a symbol of respect.
I wear this ribbon in memory of my grandfather, who was killed in Belarus in 1944. He fought against fascism, and now fascism has taken over Maidan. There are nationalists on Maidan. They have to leave, and only then will we support Maidan. Only if the nationalists go away will we back Maidan.
I'm 31. I haven't voted once in my life. Sometimes I watch the news, but I don't care if they're white, red, or blue. They're all the same to me. I ain't got time for politics. I stay away from politics altogether.
I'm a people's deputy from the opposition. My name is Andrei Shevchenko. I represent the Batkivshina party, and our goal is to achieve peace. We don't want any more bloodshed. During these 2 months of protest, there hasn't been a single shot from that side, and I think our Ukrainian people are just great.
I think that people hang around over there somewhere, behind the second barricade. They come here as though it's a guided tour of Kiev city center. Visitors aren't just from Ukraine, but also from other republics in the former Soviet Union. They came here to see what's really happening. As for the Maidan thugs, you can see them up there in front. Same people every day, about 150, 200 of them. If we were given the command, we'd clear the place in half an hour, without anything special. We'd just physically push them out of here.
As for people in masks, there are about 300, maybe 500 of them at most on Maidan. But we have to keep in mind that only last summer, and only in Ukraine, no fewer than 800 people were trained in special camps with a particular ideological program, and as far as I know, there are other camps like that abroad, for example, inside the Baltic states. These guys underwent special ideological training in the spirit of radical Ukrainian nationalism. They were also taught urban conflict and police confrontation tactics, hand-to-hand combat, knife fighting, and even shooting. According to the information I have, they were funded through a few individuals with money that originated in the US and in Europe.
My name is Ivan Pertsenko. I organize support for the guys in the special force units, like Berkut, Bars, and Tiger, for all the guys who are defending peace in our capital. What we buy for them is mostly vitamins and warm clothes. We buy the stuff every day. This is what they asked for. 20-meter extension cords. They use them for heaters, and of course they'll need splitter boxes. What else? Drinking water, as usual. Here we've got biscuits, and it's all packed up. Condensed milk, it's healthy and calorie-rich. Money's being transferred to a bank card, and people from all over Ukraine are chipping in. Now, we're also getting donations from Russia. Novosibirsk, Moscow, St. Petersburg, and Ekaterinburg give the strongest support. I've also received money donations from Malta, Paris, London, New York, and Los Angeles. The people coming here are just ordinary citizens.
Who are against extremism and fascism. They're against nationalist flags and marches. They used to be afraid something was holding them back. But now they're openly shouting, "Glory to Ukraine, death to our enemies." And this is the point where you should think about what it might lead to. It's not a peaceful protest anymore. It's war.